What's up, guys? We're live.
Hi.
We're live with episode 8. I'm cracking a freshie.
Ooh, you guys. I have an exercise today, or I'd crack one with you.
All right, well, you'll pour one out afterwards. But welcome to the show, you guys. Thanks for joining us. This is episode 8, Denver Bluegrass Allstars preview with Andy Hall. And we got my buddy Ariel Rosemberg, who's the man with the plan on helping put that live stream together. So without further ado, I want to introduce you guys, or you introduce yourselves rather. Andy, tell us all about yourself and why you're here.
Why am I here? I am here, to preview the Denver Bluegrass Allstars that's going on tomorrow night. That you guys Upslope are participating in and helping support. So that's awesome. Thank you guys so much. I play dobro. I don't know if everyone might not know what that is, but it's like a slide guitar.
I got to pick. Hold on. Let me put up a cool picture. Boom.
Boom. There it is. All dirty and dusty. Very just like it usually is. That's it. Slide guitar and a bluegrass band called the infamous Stringdusters. Don't know if you've heard of us, but so been doing that for a long, long time. Grew up in upstate New York, went to music school at Berklee College of Music, lived in Boston, lived in Nashville, did the Nashville music thing for a long time. Played with in Dolly Parton's band for a good while, and Earl Scruggs, the father of bluegrass banjo, and all kinds of country folks and bluegrass folks there, and kind of, and that's where the Stringdusters started as well. And once we kind of got rolling, everyone started to drift away from Nashville. I came to Colorado about 8 years ago, just because same reason we all did, because it's awesome and we love it here. We love the mountains, and it has a great music scene. It has a great bluegrass scene, which, since quarantine has been happening, I've been able to tap into some of that. And that's, thankfully we have a great music scene here in Denver, which is what made this Denver Bluegrass Allstars thing possible. So, that's kind of the deal,
Nice. All right. What about you, Ariel? Boom. Who the hell are you?
Thanks for having me, Katie. I'm Ariel. I've worked in the music space for a little while, and I'm on the team that manages the Stringdusters, and I've had a good relationship with the band for some time through some other ventures. And last week, 2 weeks ago, Andy gave me a shout to see if I was interested in getting involved in this event that they are live streaming from Mighty Fine Productions here in Denver tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. And the timing was great, and the project was great, and any opportunity to align the passion for the bluegrass scene and the folk scene and the music scene with nonprofit and getting to put this kind of content out is certainly awesome and appreciated, and welcome.
Heck yeah. Well, again, thanks so much for joining us, y'all. Andy, so nice to have you here. And Ariel, homie of 12 years, I really appreciate you doing me this solid and joining us today. And you are, in fact, the man with the plan when it comes to kind of putting together this Denver Bluegrass All-Stars stream. So I think we should just get right into what that's all about. I'm personally super stoked to be able to be a part of it through Upslope and Spiked Snowmelt. We love live music at the brewery. We particularly like bluegrass music. We love the infamous Stringdusters. We were a part of Winter Wondergrass through you, Ariel, with Spiked Snowmelt. If anyone was there this year, very well could have been the last festival any one of us attended for 2020 so far.
Yeah.
Incredible time. So when this opportunity kind of came our direction, it was a no-brainer. And certainly for what it all stands for, we were just all in all, it had our name written all over it. So thanks for being here. Thanks for letting us be a part of that event. And let's throw up the graphic really quick so people know what we're talking about. And then Ariel and Andy, you guys can take it away and kind of talk about what people can expect for the live stream tomorrow.
Sure.
Here's the graphic, you guys. You've seen this all over our email blasts and social. Ariel, do you want to kind of talk through it a bit while that graphic is covering your beautiful face?
Yeah, sure. So like I was saying before, Andy came to me a couple weeks ago and was like, hey man, here's this project that myself and a couple of local Denver pickers who happen to be awesome and are fortunately local here, obviously including Andy himself and Chris from the Dusters and Paul from Green Sky, Greg from Leftover, and Tyler Grant, who, as an aside, I asked him last week on a river trip how deep his repertoire it is currently, and he said he's done 7 2-hour live streams on Facebook without repeating one single song. So if that for context can share any insight into what tomorrow is going to look like, it's certainly not going to be 14 hours, but still pretty amazing.
You never know. We might get on a roll.
Right. Well, it's like the fish 1999. See you guys Saturday morning. So the IBMA Foundation is a sister organization to the International Bluegrass Music Association that recently started a fund in the name of Arnold Schultz, who was one of the, I guess, pioneers of modern day bluegrass, was someone who was followed around by Bill Monroe, who for all intents and purposes is the father of, again, modern day bluegrass. Bill Monroe actually credited Arnold Schultz as his first quote unquote bluegrass employer, and brought the idea of the blues into bluegrass. So the instrument that Andy plays, for example, in large part was likely influenced by Arnold Schultz himself and some of the roots of his music. And so the idea of the fund is to contextually put bluegrass in front of communities of people of color. And that's not to say that it's not accessible right now, but like in traditional settings, if you think about like school music donations, for example, it's usually a saxophone or a trumpet or a drum or a guitar. So this is thinking more in lines with the Americana scene and the bluegrass scene, where it might be a banjo or it might be an upright bass or a dobro or something like that. And so these 5 guys are coming together tomorrow night to pay a tribute to Mr. Schultz. The fund and the foundation has been extremely generous with distribution and things like that. And so, yeah, I think without giving too much away, the stream itself is available tomorrow for free, with donations encouraged at 7 p.m. on nugs.tv and across a number of channels on Facebook. So people should definitely be able to see it.
Ariel, I'm so glad you're here.
Like I said, the man with the plan. So here's actually a picture of Arnold Schultz. Yeah, pretty cool. Really exciting stuff. Super relevant right now, of course, across the nation. So like I said, Upslope is just super proud to be able to be a part of this with you guys. And I think it's a really cool idea, and I can't wait to hear the music that comes out of it. Andy, do you have anything you want to tell us, or secrets you want to tell us? Because this is a preview. So what can you say?
Well, we certainly do have, as far as the music, Arnold Schultz in mind, and some of the, the roots of bluegrass for sure, and the African American roots of bluegrass that a lot of times you don't hear about, and so that'll be reflected in some of the music we play for sure. And there'll definitely be some fun Green Sky originals, few Duster originals, so it'll be a nice mix of stuff, but yeah, we're gonna play for a good while, just one long set. And yeah, it's going to be great. And, it is nice to, in this day and age where, racial justice is something that's really being talked about more, and as it should, and being able to look back and see, kind of delve back into the roots of the music that we play, and see where things have come from, and to bring some of those songs kind of back to life is really cool and really fun. So, yeah, this particular project, it's like, it has a lot of meaning. In addition, we haven't played with too many people in months, so it's kind of auspicious in a lot of different ways, bringing attention to racial justice. We haven't played together. There's just so much going on, and music, I feel like, is just such a great way to shed light on all these things, to express ourselves. And we're just stoked to get together. I had the guys over at my house today. We rehearsed, and it's just awesome. It's awesome to get to play with people, to get to be in the same space safely with people. and yeah, just to get to hear the sounds up close and personal, So yeah, you'll hopefully that energy will we'll all be feeling it, whether we're in the studio or on the other end of the screen tomorrow night. And yeah, we're excited. It's fun. And Ariel, thanks. You killed it getting this all together. Katie, thanks for your help. And so yeah, it's gonna be great. I mean, as I said, we haven't been playing with anybody. I hadn't played with anybody in months. But the first time I played with somebody, maybe we'll chat a little bit. You might have mentioned the river trip that we just did.
Oh, yeah.
Let me put up a picture of that actually, because that is such a neat experience, and I want people to see what you guys just did. Ariel, you were on that trip as well. Before I do that, though, I'm really excited about tomorrow, and just kind of popped into my head that I kind of want to go ahead and call/request Ballad of Curtis Lowe. I'm just saying, if there's a song that fits what we're talking about, it's that one. So
yeah. I hear you. All right. Yeah, we didn't rehearse that today, but I'll see if I can get it together.
You can just call me separately and you can play it for me, Andy. It's no big deal.
Yeah, I'll just call you. I'll just call you and play it for you.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so back to the river thing, which is super cool. And actually, yeah, Andy, you were just saying that you hadn't played with someone until this. So here is a look at one of the coolest experiences that is just so Colorado that you can't stand it.
Yeah.
Y'all talk us through this. And there's another sick picture right here of Andy, you performing with some of the musicians who are a part of that. So yeah, so here we go.
Oh, wait, can you go back to the cave picture? Yeah. So this is what's going on specifically here is I am about to push Andy Thorne out of the cave, which is why his arm's up. He's about to fly out of the cave. I didn't actually do that, but yeah, this was one of the places that we played. The river trip was put together. It's part of Winter Wondergrass. They're calling it, I believe, River Wondergrass. Is that right, Ariel?
It's right.
Yeah, River Wondergrass. And so these are like, these are like in line with what Winter Wondergrass does, kind of like destination festivals outside, combining, the sort of the elements and outdoors with music and bluegrass and togetherness. And so this was sort of the maiden voyage of River Wondergrass, and we floated through Dinosaur National Monument on the Yampa River. There we are, all four of us playing on a raft. That was actually amazing. All the rafts were kind of slowly floating as this slow part of the river, and we got on board one of the rafts and just put on a concert with the music echoing off the huge walls inside Dinosaur Monument and the other boats kind of swirling around and listening. And it was just a special experience, camped outside every night, floated every day, played shows, played in that amazing cave that's, just such a unique and, amazing place to play. And so, yeah, I mean, combining, you're right. It's like, it couldn't be more Colorado than like what you see right there. Yeah. And I love
not to mention the 50-mile-an-hour gust that let up during that particular moment.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of got lucky. There were some major winds at times, but we had a moment of peace. We were granted a moment of still winds there while we did our performance on the raft. So, but yeah, I mean, just amazing. The guides were amazing. The whole experience is cool, and they're having a bunch more. And I think mostly sold out, but I don't know if there's stuff left. But
yeah, Ariel, do you want to plug any of that, or is it past the point because it's sold out?
No, there's a couple left. We just announced Tyler and Andy are doing one. Andy Thorne, not Andy Hall, are doing one in September, which is on sale. And then we're doing another one in July with another local band from Denver called Trotsake Revival, who actually opened the Duster show at the Mission Ballroom in January when concerts were still a thing.
When 4,000 people could all get together shoulder to shoulder.
So yeah, those will be embarking here in the next couple of months. But the idea, as Tyler Grant coined it over that week, is to lead with the expedition mindset and to just embrace the unknown. And when we go into festival weekend, for us in particular at Winter Wondergrass, it's always the unknown, right? As we very well know here, especially here in Colorado, I don't think rain and thunder was forecasted for today, and here we are.
Yeah.
So the same thing could be said, right? It's the water could be doing something different. The wind could be doing something different. You could camp next to the canyon wall like I did and have your tent flap around like mine did. But yeah, it's all about the community and all about the music and all about bringing people together in a safe and sound way, which is why we're offering a stream and not a concert.
I can drink to that because that sounds awesome.
I'm so jealous. Why? I don't need to exercise today.
You'll just drink after your exercise. You gotta earn it.
These are like hand curls, right?
That's about my COVID workout extent. I can assure you of that.
The old 12-ounce curl. Yeah. Snow mounts were a big hit on the river, that's for sure.
Nice.
Perfect.
I think the electrolyte too would be a solid hit because you got to get some electrolytes while you're having some bevies, right? So I know as Ariel, is that what you're drinking?
Yeah, I am. It is the grapefruit and hops electrolyte. I have worked out. This is replenishing what I burned, Andy.
Yeah. No. See. Yeah. You're ahead of me. I'll get there tonight. It'll be my reward at the end of the workout. But yeah, I gotta say, just side note, and this is not because I'm just on the screen with you, but partnering with Upslope is pretty exciting because it is really one of my favorite beers that is out there. So it's always fun when you partner with people where it's like you really truly do like the thing.
Totally.
Because sometimes you partner with people, yeah, that's great, and we have a similar mindset, and it's all great. But when it's one where you're like, yeah, I like that. I actually,
that's kind of exactly how. First of all, thank you for saying that. That's awesome. It's always cool for us to hear that cool people like our products. So thank you.
Well, I don't know if I'm cool, but I like it.
Before we started too, Katie told me that I could ask some questions of her also, and I've seen some stuff that we won't get into, but I guess my question to you is, since I have no idea how many people are watching this, and I guess it doesn't really matter, but for our benefit, if some people are watching that are Dusters faithful or Bluegrass faithful, or like my mom or sister or something, like talk a little bit about why, what the Upslope product or the Upslope brand has done over the course of the last 3.5 months to stay in front of the clutter, and why a relationship like partnering with the Denver Bluegrass Allstars tomorrow night is meaningful.
Man, that's a great question because that has been incredibly challenging for anybody who's in my line of work where experiences were kind of on the forefront of the game plan, right? So major rain on the parade for everybody on this call right now and many, many thousands and millions of people around the world. So the name of the game was pivot, right? Take the playbook that we had in mind, all the cool stuff I had planned, all the festival exposure and sponsorships, and kind of crumple it up or at least, like I said, pivot and change where we were headed. So that's really where this episode, What's Up with Upslope TV was just kind of born out of necessity, right? And trying to connect with our audiences and create experiences for our tribe and like-minded people, your tribe. Last week we had Big Mountain Enduro, so the mountain biking community. We've had fly fishing people. We've had barbecue aficionados. Anything that we can do to bring friends and like-minded people together and just talk about stuff has been something I've had to do. And I can assure you it was never my intention to be the host of anything. I have a face for radio, and I'm not stoked to be on a TV all the time, but I'm having a good time. So, so I would say it's just been one of those things to reach out to friends and lean on people, right? Unfortunately, Bill Withers passed away earlier this year, and he would have said, lean on me. So that's what it's all about. Finding friends, finding partners. And it's super important to me, as Andy just mentioned, to find those partners that are true and authentic and that feel right and that are real and are genuine. You can go and hitch your wagon to a hell of a lot of things. But Upslope is the type of company that we're transparent and we are who we are and we're genuine with the things that we support. And we love the outdoor community and we love the music community and we really love Colorado. I think there's a lot of cool people in this state because we're all here for the same reason, which helps for So yeah, I think I don't even recall the original question, Ariel, but I'm just excited to talk about the fact that it's been pivot, and adapt. And we're stronger together. And I think it's just been really cool to be a part of the conversations that get us to things that result in things like the Denver Bluegrass Allstars. So yeah, I like the stuff that's come out of this, right? It's not been easy and it's not really been all that fun, but we do our best to make it fun and keep everyone nice and socially lubricated. So yeah, did that answer your question, Ariel?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, that's, if I could just comment on that real quick. Yeah, I mean, same with the Stringdusters, obviously pivot, huge thing. And also, just speaking of like the relationships and the authenticity of the relationships, it feels like with everything that's gone on, that's kind of what everything has kind of, I don't want to say reduced to, but kind of gotten back to, is like the real reason and authentic reasons you want to do things or you want to engage in activities or whatever. For musicians, it's like we're playing music for, free or sometimes, a little bit of money, but like, it's much less about like the business part of it for us has sort of been deconstructed, and what's left is the music, and I think for a lot of companies, it's really been a difficult, but also kind of nice in a way to sort of just, really get to the roots of why you do what you do, who you want to partner with, who you want to hang with, what is important. And I think that's one of the like positive things that we can take out of this. It's, and also just, appreciation now that we can get back together a little bit here and there. Boy, you appreciate people and relationships and things.
Actually, I told Dan Rodriguez on the river trip, Andy, we were having a conversation about this exact thing. And one of the metaphors that came out of that dialogue was that now is the time to lead with the art and allow the frame to sort of shape around the art, rather than here's your frame and let's stick the art in it. Because that's
Yeah, I love that idea. Like, because, with music and with other businesses too, I'm sure, I know for sure, but I can speak from the music element. Yeah, the business has been totally thrown into disarray, but the art continues. And so, like you say, it's as opposed to trying to make a new business framework and stick your music in there, it's like just do the music stuff, get and begin to, see how things can, maybe be improved moving forward. Maybe
this
can
is the perfect
be
example.
Yeah,
Right here.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure. Yeah. So, I agree with everything, you said. And I think that's, it is nice to have partners that you appreciate and that have like minds, and it is an opportunity to continue to be more authentic and more real, and because that's all you have, when things go down, you have relationships, you have your friends and your family and your partnerships and things. And you realize how important those real, good ones are.
Yeah. And to speak a little bit more candidly about kind of how we've weathered the storm at Upslope. Thankfully, we were labeled as an essential business, and I think everyone else would be thankful for that too, because there's been an uptick in the drinking scene, right? Good times bring booze, bad times bring booze. So we're weathering that storm no matter what happens, and I'm thankful to be in a resilient enough industry. But, it was really sad when the on-premise took such a hit. Like, man, those are the people that helped build our company, those bartenders and those bar managers and people in the hospitality industry who honestly, unfortunately, took one of the biggest hits. And so it's been interesting to see that go away and then still have to weather that storm. And our sales team has been absolutely crucial in continuing the success for the business. Our tap room members who decided, I used to pull pints, but now I'm going to run deliveries and just do what they had to do to get us to survive. So I've been super impressed with my brewing family. One of the best teams in all of the land, I have to tell you, like good people who have a sick work ethic, and then honestly, insane fans who keep us afloat. So I think that goes for the music the music community too, right? Like we're all very committed to tuning in on these live streams, watching archival footage, cooking dinner, watching an infamous Stringdusters show from 5 years ago, understandably that doesn't really hold up the business side because there's not really an exchange of money. But in the case of tomorrow night, I think people have not had to spend a lot of money on concerts and tickets. So in this case, check out a really, really cool opportunity to see 5 amazing artists together for the first time ever. Is that right, guys? The 5 of you have never performed?
Yeah. Yep. It's a one of a kind band, one time band, maybe not a one-time band. It's our first time band for sure.
So people I think are going to be willing to tune in for free, but then that encouraged aspect of the donation for a worthy cause, I think is really neat. So yeah, I think people are kind of getting down to what they really care about and what matters to them. That's the positivity out of it all.
Yep. And it's like, it is nice to, if you're a business that has, you have like a loyal fan base because you're real, because you connect with your community. Upslope is like just quintessentially Colorado. And, the Stringdusters, we have our community of fans who really relate to us. And I think that type of business has been helpful. It's good to be in. I mean, it's just fun anyway to be in a real, a business or whatever that's just real. But also, I think, people's generosity has been amazing. People's willingness to step up. That's what it's all about. It's okay to not make money for a while if you can do, things for worthy causes and whatever. And just, we all just help each other as best we can. So
in large part too, that's to maintain the established fan base, right, Andy? Like you and Katie too, right? That's why you're doing this. And Andy, that's why the Stringdusters moved forward with the SDTV concept that was airing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, was to just maintain the dialogue. And it sort of personifies the beer that we drink and the music that we listen to a little bit differently, right? Because suddenly we're speaking face to face in a manner in which we never really have before, which is through our phone screens or our computer screens or whatever the case may be. But I think at the at the end of the day, the bottom line is connectivity. That's that.
Well, like Katie was saying, like they lost, the tap room is closed for a while or whatever. And that's like your direct connection to people. That's where people are coming in physically to see you. And like with our concerts, that shut down. So we now have these opportunities to do the more like face-to-face direct connection, because that's important. It's you can sell beer, you can stream your music online, but you're not getting that interaction, and so that you want to maintain some of that element of things too. And that's what these streams are about. And the stream tomorrow is about, is to just maintain the connection with people. I mean, we need it. Like as a musician, I didn't get into this for any other reason than to play and to connect and to express myself. And so we need to do it. Like I don't have any choice. Like I need it. I need to play and perform and express myself for people. That's what I love to do. And so I can't just not do that. So thankfully we have the medium here, but it's like that connection is everything, and the music, it's like, when there'd be a couple weeks that would go by, I wouldn't have a stream or anything. And I'm just sort of like, oh man, I don't want to practice. There's no purpose, blah, blah, blah. As soon as like a stream would pop up or there's something to work towards, or there's a time where I know I'm going to connect and have people engaging, then I'm like, I get fired up and it gives me spring back to life. So these things really keep me going,
Yeah, and it's probably super strange for you guys when you even are doing these live streams to not have that energy in the room that is palpable at a live concert, and the screaming and the yelling and the people singing along and stomping their feet and clapping. I'm sure that's been an odd pivot for you.
Oh man, we still laugh about it. Like it's the funny. I mean, when you're playing the song, kind of you're sort of in the moment a bit, but when the song stops and you're just in your room silent, I'm just like, you know what I mean? I'm like da 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 da. Wow. Okay. Well. Cool. Okay. What's that? It's just, I will never get used to like, you put everything into it and the song stops and it's just you in your room. It's so weird. But, the brain kicks in and you're like, there's people out there maybe enjoying it, I think.
Well, speaking of people being out there, if there's anyone watching who has a specific question for anyone who's here, let us know, post some comments. We would love to put that up and put Andy or Ariel or me on the spot for what it's worth. I do have a special guest here. This is Ariel's mom. Hey, Evelyn. We appreciate all the moms out there. I know it was just Father's Day, but Evelyn she's near and dear to my heart as well, as Ariel and I have been friends for 12 years. So, hey, Evie, we love you. Thanks for tuning in. What if some non-moms of people on the thread want to comment? It'd be super sweet for us to hear from you guys. And I don't know, Andy, I don't want to put you on the spot, but your instrument is just so beautiful. I don't know if you have any handy that you want to show or talk about. But it sounds like you also do some classes. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can. So there's a blue screen behind me.
Yep.
That's where I film and do all my video lessons. Yeah, I have a thing called Artist Works. I've been doing it for 8 years. It's online lessons. They have all kinds of teachers. I teach the dobro through Artist Works. And that's been awesome. I love doing it. It's like I always like being like an ambassador of the dobro because it's a weird instrument. A lot of people don't necessarily know what it is, and it's just Artist Works is one way to do that. But yeah, I just love showing people this stuff because it's cool. And so I do have a couple here. Just happen to have a few handy.
Oh, how convenient!
Yeah, I know.
Well, go ahead and show those real quick. I'm going to probably full screen you. So you have the stage. Ariel and I will just kind of fade into the background. I'm going to grab a computer charger because my thing's yelling at me that it might die.
All right. I'll just chat. And this is one that I play. So I like to show off the ones that I don't get to bring on the road all that much. This is a National. This was one of the first square neck guitars. So you can see it's got a square neck. And you don't play it like this, you play it like this. And I'll show you if I have is my slide around? I might not have my slide. In which case I can't demonstrate it. But
look in your pocket.
Oh no, it's behind my computer. Yeah, you obviously you play it flat and they make most of these acoustic slide guitars have a resonator here. These were initially invented before electric guitars, before you could plug a guitar in. There was only acoustic guitars, and they made this system to try and make them louder. But they ended up having an awesome tone. This is from 1929 National. Pretty cool. And then I'll show you my regular one. This is what they kind of morphed into not long after that, were wood body ones. So this one's mahogany. It's got one big resonator. Not quite as sort of pinched and punchy of a sound. Sounds a little more like a regular guitar. So you play it with the slide, and the slide just glides along, and you rip around. But yeah, this is normally what I play live, and I have a number of ones like this. But and then there's all different types of slide guitars. There's electric slide guitars. There's a variety of other acoustic slide guitars, and it's fun. It's unique. The sound of it is it's got a very vocal sound. It sounds almost like singing, which is which is why I like it. At the end of my grandmother's life, I used to go to her house and play dobro for her, and she would say, "Andy, it sounds just like it's singing." And that is kind of the idea with the dobro is it's got this kind of like vocal sound. So yeah, I mean, that's it. That's what I do. I play this. And
amazing. And that is one of my favorite instruments of all time. And just, yeah, it does sound like it's singing. And I kind of don't want you to stop doing those little riffs and want to put you back on solo because it's just so enjoyable.
You want me to play something?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Do y'all want him to play something? I do.
I have a quick question. So bringing it back to the original topic, Arnold Schultz was said to have started playing fiddle at about the age of 16. When did you first pick up your first string instrument?
I was wondering that too.
Yeah, I got my first guitar when I was 15. I got just this little bitty amp and a little electric guitar, and you know what it was for me. What really turned me on to music? It's kind of funny. MTV. I mean, MTV was I played like clarinet and band and stuff, but that wasn't it. That wasn't what like made you want. It was MTV. It was like seeing all the videos and hearing all the music, and I would sit in front of the TV and watch MTV and just like mesmerized by this whole like the art of it. Like all the videos were different and weird, and sometimes you'd see a live performance video and you'd be like, holy cow, that's amazing, like look what's going on. And this was in the early 80s for me, and like the mid 80s, and you were just like, these people were like superheroes, like it was amazing. And so that it's funny, MTV is like really it did it. It's too bad that they don't have something like that anymore. But I'll just play something, a little something.
Yes.
That's an old fiddle tune called Chinkapin Hunting. And fiddle tunes, those are a lot of the instrumental music in like bluegrass and stuff are fiddle tunes, that have been adapted. And I adapt these tunes to dobro, or other instruments will adapt them, but a lot of them are fiddle tunes. And that's what Arnold Schultz did a lot of, was play like instrumental fiddle music for dances and things. Like a lot of this music came from parties and dances and beer, bars and things. It was like revelry music. It was music to party to, basically, back in the day. And it still is. Yeah, that still is, exactly. But yeah, the dobro for sure is very much blues based, even though I play like that tune, not so much. But a lot of bluegrass, and particularly dobro, is blues based, and somebody like Arnold Schultz definitely was like very influential in infusing a sort of blues sound into the beginnings of bluegrass through Bill Monroe and his connection with Bill Monroe. Bill Monroe being the inventor of bluegrass, really. So the inventor of bluegrass was very heavily influenced by this African-American fiddle and guitar player named Arnold Schultz. And so that's kind of, it's fun to see how the branches of the tree kind of, where they sort of start. And it's fun to see that lineage and that connection. As you play some of this music, you can sort of imagine and get the feel that there's a thread of connection all the way back. It's kind of cool.
Absolutely. So we have a lot of people thrilled that you just did that. So thank you. We had a request for Freebird. I can see wholeheartedly you saying hell no to that, but I thought it was funny because that's one of me and Ariel's buddies.
Yeah, I probably should just go ahead and learn Freebird. So when that one person jokingly asks, I'm like, all right, I'll see you in 8 minutes. Because I'm gonna do this thing.
But for real, you mentioned kind of like the bluesy roots, and I'm super drawn to that. And I'm curious if, I don't want to sit here and be like monkey dance, but I really am excited to see, is there something that you have that is rooted in blues that you could show us on your dobro right now that's a little bit less of the bluegrassy sound? Like, I'm curious, like what, how have you drawn inspiration from that?
I personally listened to blues music before I ever listened to any bluegrass music. Yeah. And that's how I got into bluegrass. I was into blues music, and I started kind of like guys like, it started with like Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan and guys like that. But then I sort of traced the roots back and started listening to old blues. And that's actually how I found bluegrass. I just got into like this sort of like being like a music, archaeologist, and just looking back at old music. And I was looking back at all this blues stuff and discovered bluegrass. One of the tunes that I do is called Sweet Home Chicago. It's by Robert Johnson, who was around about the same time as Arnold Schultz. And he was helping to develop the blues in the late 20s. Let me just get this in tune for 1 sec. Yeah, so it's hey, back to the same old place, sweet home Chicago. 1 1 is 2, 2 and 2 is 4. I'm heavy loaded, baby, but I gotta go right here. Back to the same old place, sweet home Chicago. Come on, pretty baby, and don't you make me late crying. Back to the same old place, sweet home Chicago. So that definitely is straight from the blues. That's a Robert Johnson is sort of, he's like the originator, one of the main originators of blues. At least he's one of the earliest recorded blues artists, and those tunes have have gone on to influence every major rock band, from Rolling Stones to Led Zeppelin to, all the rock bands from the 60s and onward. Those blues tunes that's all Keith Richards wanted to do, was to play that kind of thing, and they did it in the form of like a rock band. But that music, bluegrass, is basically just that, but faster. You
have a record too, right? With Roosevelt Collier, who's a pretty formative modern day slide guitar player. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Roosevelt Collier, he plays slide too. It's a duo slide record, and he comes from the sort of the gospel end of things. So a lot of these like Baptist churches where he's from use the slide guitar in their church services, like other services use like an organ or something. They use the lap steel and slide guitar, and literally the preacher will stand up and preach with a lap steel, and he'll preach and then he'll play and then and it's incredible. I mean, it's so passionate and it's just very purely just expressive, and they use the slide guitar to just get people that feeling of the Lord, it's really cool.
It definitely moves you. Like I was chair dancing the whole time you were doing that. And
that's awesome.
Actually headlined one of the Upslope Get Downs, because we try to keep that pretty funky towards the end of the night. We like to have multiple genres kind of represented during that day, because it's like a fun, family friendly thing, and it's all about just having a good time. And then we kind of like to cap it off with that funky sound and just let the freak flag fly.
Yeah.
And Roosevelt is like the man.
He's incredible.
The man. So
he's a freak on the slide. He's a freak on the slide guitar. He is incredible. But yeah, and so that was kind of like the idea of the record that we did. Is I came kind of a little bit more from like the bluegrass world, and he came from kind of the gospel world, and it's like bringing these two worlds together through music, through slide guitar, these seemingly maybe different worlds culturally or whatever, and we're like came together through slide guitar to kind of just make music and share in that, and it's really cool. So we had a recording session booked to do volume 2 of Andy and Roosevelt, and then COVID hit, and we'll hopefully get back to it.
Oh man, Ariel, keep me posted. I can't wait for that. That sounds right up my alley, and probably up the alley of many, many people who don't even know that you did volume 1. So that's nice. Badass. I just really am kind of curious though, still from you, hearing you talk it's just like, we need more time, because I'm so interested in this. And the dobro really is like a sound that I appreciate the most in like any music that I'm listening to. How did you pick getting into the dobro specifically though? And like what kind of, you talked about Jimi Hendrix, which at a young age, Jimi Hendrix, I don't play any instrument, but I certainly dance to it and love lots of different genres. But Jimi Hendrix was pretty important to me at a young age. So I'm curious, who was most influential? Like, so why the dobro, and who's most influential? I'm sure you a million times, but not on.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, the influential part is just I've always been a bit of a chameleon and I just take things from all that. Like, I was in a death metal band in high school, and then I would go, and then when they would leave my mom's basement, I'd go upstairs and try and write like country songs. I mean, it's just I just never really was boxed in musically. So my influences, are wide reaching, but so I was a blues electric guitar player, shred, rock, all kinds of stuff. But blues, I really started getting into blues, and I went to music school when I was 18, Berklee College of Music in Boston, and I was playing some slide, but it was mostly electric guitar. And the practice regimen was so serious, so like stringent. I mean, you just had to practice so much, and I just wanted to. And I ended up injuring my left hand, just from running scales and playing hours and hours and hours. And it was just like, because I was at school, I would keep injuring it and play through the pain. And it got to where I actually couldn't play regular guitar. It got so bad, but I could play the slide for whatever reason. Like the motion of the slide didn't aggravate that injury at all. And so I was kind of like, I played some, but I was thrust into it kind of by this injury. And then around that same time, I heard Jerry Douglas, who is the undisputed king of dobro. He's not everyone would have heard of him. He's not like internationally known in every living room, but if you know at all bluegrass or really deep into music, you know Jerry Douglas. He's the king of dobro. I heard a tape of his, and I was like, oh, you can do all that. Because I thought the dobro, I was playing, and it's like it seemed a little limited. I needed to hear Jerry Douglas like blow my mind and basically show me that anything was possible on the instrument and you could play it. And once I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, you can do that. I got it. I'm in, and so just the sound of it and the sound of him. So Jerry Douglas, I would have to say my biggest influence, for sure. And yeah, so it was kind of like I had this injury. I found Jerry Douglas, like all these things just kind of happened in a all at once to just sort of thrust me into the dobro. And that was, 26 years ago, maybe.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah. I'm glad I asked, because that is an interesting path that led you to such a sweet, sweet sounding instrument.
Yeah.
Damn good at.
Well, thanks. I'm glad it worked out the way it did. It's just like, that injury, it was like such a dark place. I'm like, oh, I can't do what the only thing that I've wanted to do for as long as I can remember. And,
right.
It's very dark, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm in school, I'm in this school for this and I can't do it. And it was like, and then it all you see in hindsight, it all worked out, the way it was supposed to. So it's it was a good lesson for me in that when things get dark, you never know what good will come out the other side,
Absolutely. That's crazy.
What?
What's that?
A lesson for today's times too, right?
Yeah,
exactly. That lesson of getting me into dobro and having it be one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me. But it was, having to go through that dark time, that has stuck with me, and it definitely gives me confidence to roll through the tough times,
Yeah, I can't imagine at the age you were and like being so focused on what you were in school for. I feel like you would have felt like your world was crashing down. And like, so how did you? So obviously, Jerry Douglas, you heard that, but did somebody kind of nudge you in that direction and say, hey man, here's some other ways you can still do what you want to do? Or did you simply have to stumble through that dark time and figure that out? Or
yeah, I mean, it's all these little things. Like I say, like I was playing some slide and playing more slide because of the hand injury. Right. And had a friend who had a Jerry Douglas cassette, and he's like, "Oh, you're into that, man? You should check this out." And so there are these little things pop up that are little gifts along the way, that kind of little fortuitous things. But I just at that point, yeah, I mean, I totally taught myself how to play dobro. The nice thing was I knew how to practice, I knew how to learn music, right. And I knew music in general, and so I just had to take everything that I knew and I knew how to practice. I knew how to learn something. So I just shifted it up over to dobro and got a degree from Berkeley in music production and engineering. So like sort of a non-musical, degree, all the while practicing dobro and just learning that on my own.
That's awesome. I love to hear it.
Yeah, well, Berkeley was very influential for me too. That Berkeley is an amazing music school. It's not your average music school. They have students from 70 different countries, and you'll walk by the practice rooms, and in one room you'll have like an African drum ensemble, and then the next room will be a jazz trio, and then the next room will be like a metal band, and then the next room will be like Afro-Cuban music, and then the next room will be a little bluegrass band. I mean, it's like, it is amazing. So that, I loved my time there, even though it was challenging and yeah, it was cool.
Sounds pretty badass to stumble into all those rooms with all those different sounds coming. Like that just sounds awesome to me.
Yeah. Amazing. Totally.
That's awesome. Well, Ariel, do you have any other questions or anything we should I mean, we should definitely plug tomorrow night because now I'm hella revved up for it after this.
Yeah.
It's super exciting. And I think thanks again for playing a couple of ditties there. I think people are just always excited to stumble across a live music situation on their news feed. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stoked for tomorrow night.
Yeah, no questions for me, but just wanted to say thanks again, obviously, to Katie and to Andy for hanging tonight. And, the stream tomorrow, again, it benefits both the musicians as well as this newly launched fund backed by the IBMA Foundation, and it'll be available on nugs.tv and across anything that anybody follows that's probably watching this and then some tomorrow. We're really fortunate to have the partners that we've got, and super excited to go live with a real band tomorrow from a studio.
Yeah,
I'll throw up that graphic one more time so people can get stoked. So yeah, you guys check it out. Like Ariel just said, the live stream is at 7 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow on nugs.tv. Obviously Upslope is also going to be live streaming that, as we are a proud sponsor, and we are so excited for this as well. You got Paul Hoffman, you got Andy Hall, who's been hanging with us for the last hour, Chris Pandolfi, Greg Garrison, and Tyler Grant. These are kind of some heavy hitters right in our backyard who represent some really badass bluegrass music. So please join us. We're so stoked, and I really can't thank you two enough for joining us. It's been really fun. Andy, I really look forward to tomorrow, and you've gotten me stoked to put on all sorts of music that I didn't think I was going to listen to tonight, but I'm
glad. So glad.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I had a great time hanging. It's always great to have an opportunity to share the dobro and to chat with cool people. So hopefully we'll all get to enjoy that stream. We'll enjoy playing. You guys enjoy listening, and tomorrow night, 7:00 Mountain.
Be there.
Thank
All right,
you.
guys, we're signing off. We appreciate you tuning in. Have a good night.